Alright, so I thought it'd be fun to do a run of Wasteland 2 and narrate the highlights and the exploration of the desert ranges of Arizona. I have what I think is a pretty solid team comp here. The only thing I've done different compared to the other runs is I gave one guy racing a circus. I did it because this character in particular is supposed to be the weirdo of the group. The pros and the cons of the quirk are kinda noticeable. The reasoning's more thematical than anything else, but without further ado, I'm gonna start the Wasteland 2 run. And so we begin the story of the fresh recruits of the Desert Range. What the hell is this? Why on earth is he dressed like that? That's my race in the circus guy, I guess. I can't take his outfit off either. No, this isn't gonna work. I'm gonna have to fix this. Hold on. Okay, take two, with feeling. And so we begin the story of the fresh recruits of the Desert Rangers, recently integrated from the Force as they left their tribe, not as outcasts, but as missionaries seeking to spread optimism and joy all across Arizona. The entertainers were, however, not welcomed by the folks of the Waste, often fired at by bandits, discriminated against, treated as freaks. The only comfort the Waste provided them was that the harassment didn't stop at them, and it was no consolation they wanted. They came to a unanimous agreement. The world doesn't need entertainers, it needs protectors. But they weren't quick to drop their culture simply due to their new profession. Naturally, once they brought the peace, they intended to return to their original goal, and as a result, the Ranger badges remained accompanied by their lanyards, holding tight to their clown licenses. The squad began with 4 Rangers, Ranger Skippy, an experienced circusman who knew he was passing his prime, and this was likely his last chance to do anything good for the outside world. Growing more tired of the circus as his attitude soured, one thing hadn't changed, and that being that he wanted a better place for his people. And he would go out there and make it with his bare hands if need be. Ranger Wiggles was a former scrap part salesman, tearing apart old tech and machinery and selling the still intact parts, more or less. He thought since his job wasn't practical for most people to rob, as it wasn't food or guns, nobody would really bother trying to rob him. His confidence, as well as his deep sleep, got him in some deep trouble. He was robbed at gunpoint and left in the desert to die. His stinginess blinding him from the blatant fact that his stuff is still worth something to someone, and could still be sold off. With no hope or will to live, he gave up real fast trudging in the sand, but he managed to luck out, as, where he was lying, he was not far from the circus. They rescued and cared for him. Wiggles is a man of fair trade. Seeing that they've saved his life, he would use it to give back to them the best he could. And risking his life to be a desert ranger is one of the best opportunities he could come up with. Ranger sits in the top of her field of paramedic clowns, knowing exactly how to treat a lethal injury, while simultaneously how to make it look comical. Comedic timing is imperative in the field, and Slits has never lost a patient thanks to knowing exactly how long to keep a joke going. Laughter is the best medicine after all, but not if your rib cage isn't supposed to move like that. Disasters are pretty minimal in the tent, though, so the ringmaster sent her out to become a ranger with the team, as their work would be far more dangerous, and her job was to make sure they can continue their line of work. Ranger Jex is an odd one and the only outsider from the deployed squad. He used to be the big shot sheriff of a backwater town after stopping the robbery. The criminal swiftly and skillfully got past security, dropping any guards in his way, only to get nailed square in the head by a 30 cal round. The town cheered for his amazing shot and his superhuman reflexes, insisting he becomes the head of the law of their humble town. All except for the girl Jex was trying to impress at the time, who says he was actually aiming for a bottle he set up. He missed the bottle, by the way. Turned out, Jex is a superb shot. Or that's what he says, he's actually a mediocre shot with a lot of lucky shots. He, of course, let the fame of being the local hero get to his head, and left town one night to become a desert ranger. Probably should have warned the town that is now missing a sheriff, but what can you do? He was removed from multiple squads as they found him undesirable or already had a marksman, until they made it clear that this next squad is the best and frankly last shot he would get. Team Echo. But unfortunately for Jex, Team Echo was a squad of literal clowns. He did his best to fit in and was reluctantly accepted, and given the clown outfit. Not wanting to test the big guy with the spiked bat, he donned the uniform. Jex to this day likes to think on the bright side of things and how much bragging he could do pulling off his stunts under these conditions. The Rangers were sent on a mission to expand their communication. The goal was to use the repeater units to extend their influences, The secondary priority was to investigate the death of one of the veteran rangers, Ace. Further investigation revealed that Ace was killed by a synth. Although this was concerning on its own, priority 1 for the Rangers was to set up the repeater units. But this mission is compromised when 2 of 3 locations with radio towers are under attack simultaneously. Yeah, even with the red noses on, the Rangers could smell something fishy here. The Rangers set off to save High Pole from a raider seat, mostly so I can point out not even literal clowns would pick Ag Center over High Pole. Thanks to his maintenance and arming of cannons in the Circus, Ranger Wiggles was more than competent to redirect the mortar fire and use it against the raiders. After liberation of the town, they helped the people, stopped High Pole from detonating from sheer water pressure of the dam, and their good deeds rewarded them with Cape Preston being elected mayor, this ensuring further trust with the Rangers for protection and plenty of fresh water for the boys back home. But this added a whole new problem to the plan when they reached Ag Center, and it was completely overran by monsters infected by a virus that turned people into pod people and spread throughout the wastes, and the Rangers were forced to patrol what was left of towns to place the antifungal serum into water supplies as to stop spreading. Suits did her best to justify things through superior knowledge, and pointing out that humans can last far longer without food than without water. This did little to soothe the losses to the Rangers. Hell, they weren't even sure if that was true. The loss of the Ag Center radio tower was yet more bad news and led them to Plan B. The Rangers were assigned to venture to Demanta and use their radio tower instead. And doing so meant heading through the prison and finding a contact that would give them the directions needed to get the radiation suits to reach the canyon on the way there. Despite the Red Scorpion militia being full of former criminals, they attempted to build a society. Or so they say, but this insultingly flimsy veil did little to cover what the Rangers deemed to be slavery tied together with a few prettier words. They were able to clear out the prison, free some slaves, and the farm, but they were unable to wipe out the main facility of Red Scorpions, as their base was far too fortified for a handful of Rangers to effectively compromise. They would have to return when they're far more thoroughly prepared. With justice served as much as possible, the Rangers seeked their lead, Red, who told them exactly how to get a hold of the rad suits they needed. The Rangers took the liberty of scouting out further hotspots they could not reach before, and making contact with the rail nomads, where they were soon to be in for a whole new predicament.
Please, strangers! My friend Ralphie's in the lake. He can't swim back to shore. Please hurry. The lake is this way.